Yeah, we just saw Regis get a second belt at 140 pounds. How do you think about his performance?
I thought Regis performed pretty well. His head movement was outrageous. I could have seen Regis did a lot more, like the jab to the body, like small stuff. But he got the job done, so you can't criticize somebody for getting the job done. I give him an A+.
A plus?
A+.
Who would you like to see him go up against at 140? I know he's been wanting a Taylor rematch for a long time, but there's a lot of other people, and some of the guys at 35, like Tank and Ryan, could move up to 140 pounds also.
Regis a big dude. That's a big dude at 140. I don't see nobody standing a chance of him. Tank and Ryan are great fights, but you know, styles make matchups. So today's matchup was like a matchup that wasn't in Regis' favor. Like everybody thought Zepeda was gonna be like, you know what I'm saying, outweigh Regis, but Regis did his thing. He did exactly what he's supposed to do. I commend him for it.
Yeah, he was a more skillful fighter, but I think his power also made a big difference in the fight.
I mean, it's the snapshots. Regis was right on point with everything. You can't. I give him A+. He countered. He stood in the paint. He got hit. I mean, he did everything a fighter was supposed to do.
It was a really good back and forth fight from the beginning. It was very competitive. They both wanted to win. Regis was just too strong. He had a lot of good reflexes, and that's how it happened.
Kind of an even fight up until the stoppage, man. Who did you have winning in your mind up until the stoppage?
I thought Regis was winning. You know, he was catching Zepeda a lot, going back, a lot of jabs, and he was just doing good overall. I just feel like he was the dominant one.
It was back and forth. It was back and forth, and then both of them were landing great shots. And it just at the end, Zepeda caught with the left hand, and it hurt him, and Prograis was able to capitalize and do what he needed to do to get him out of there, and that's what he did. And it's unfortunate because, you know, Zepeda's my friend, but, you know, that's boxing. That's the boxing world.
What do you think about the account that Zepeda made for himself? A lot of people making a lot of fuss about him losing his first fight, but what is the silver lining for Zepeda in his performance tonight?
Oh, he did amazing. You know, Prograis is a lot younger than Zepeda, and he just did a great job. You know what I mean? Zepeda was in the fight the whole time. It was not like he was getting outclassed, and at the end of the day, you know, I wish him the best, and my heart's with him.
What would your message be to Chon picking up the pieces and continuing his career after his first defeat?
You know, nothing's impossible. You know what I mean? You know, you go back to the drawing board if that's what you want to do. If not, then God bless you.
Rougarou. That's all I got to say. Swamp Monster. Hey, he did his thing tonight. I loved his head movement. I seen something that he could correct, which would make him even much better, but he seen when he hurt him, and he never stepped off the gas. He was laser focused. He kept pressing and pressing and pressing. Once he found that he hurt him, he kept the same energy all the way through, and looked him in his eyes, and that's that shit I like. So shout out to him, you feel me? It was exciting.
You said the Swamp Monster, the Rougarou, Wolfman Jack, whatever we want to call him. Regis Prograis tonight came on and appeared to get stronger as the fight went on. What do you think that says about him and his progress in the 140-pound division?
I like it. You know, I always say when somebody does good like that or they get to a certain point, I'm always like, I wish I could fight him, or I want to spar. I wish I was his weight class. So when I say that, I mean that means I feel like, you know, I could play chess with him. You know what I'm saying? He could play chess good. So yeah, that's how I felt tonight. He was at his best, and he looked real good. You know what I mean? What can you say? He did his job. He knocked the dude out. He seen in like mid rounds when he hurt him, and then he seen when he could get him out of there. And every time he stepped it up, he did exactly what he was supposed to do. So it was a beautiful performance for Regis Prograis.
What did you think about the account that Chon Zepeda showed for himself tonight, time and time again, exchanging big punches, fighting through what looks like being hurt quite a few times in the fight? What do you think about Chon's performance?
Who?
Jose Zepeda.
Zepeda, I thought he did well. He just got a little nullified with the head movement, and then I think some of the big punches he couldn't. I think like if Regis wasn't such a big puncher and all his punches were just heavy, he would have been okay with the movement.
Definitely. How badly, considering the fact that Regis Prograis' only defeat is to Josh Taylor from the UK, what do you think about Regis Prograis, Josh Taylor Part 2?
I mean, look, man, he really performed out tonight. And Josh Taylor didn't look so good with another fighter. So, you know, yeah, you know, we, I forgot what I was even talking about now.
Interrupted by Jermall Charlo. Some sort of event just happened in the dressing room. Charlo being led out with his people. We were talking about Regis Prograis and his recapturing of the WBC 140-pound championship and his chronicles with Josh Taylor.
Yes, Josh Taylor, he didn't look so good in his last performance, and I know he has to do a rematch with a fighter and who's kind of small, kind of similar to Regis Prograis, but I think Regis is a much better fighter, and you know, I think he might have learned something and had to experience something from the first Taylor fight. So I think eventually, maybe he fights one more fight, he should get that Taylor fight. So, and I think people will be excited to see it.
How do you think that rematch goes when those two finally do get together again?
I think that it will be very interesting. Not saying sure who will win, but I think that especially tonight, you've seen that Regis has some levels. So, you know, I think I'm pretty sure that he wants to get back in there. So he proved tonight that he could be in there again. So I think they should give him a shot.
Excited are you for the victory for Regis Prograis tonight, Maul?
Yeah, awesome victory. I told y'all, stupid asses.
Maul, when are we going to see you again, Maul? Maul, how's your back doing right now? How you doing? How's your recovery?
Man, I'm 100%. I'm 100%. I'll be back next year. Thank y'all for keeping it locked. I'm back. I'm back in full effect.
Hey, what do you tell the people?
I want Bebo next. Bebo, where your ass at? He was over here calling me out and shit. I want him next.
What about Munguia? Munguia's promoter told us all that he wanted to get in the ring with you.
Do that work?
It was amazing as it is, you know, back and forth, two amazing champions, you know. One thing that really paid off was the jab and the head movement that allowed him to pressure him and allowed him to take a lot of his energy from Sean, you know. And then that last overhand that really hurt Zepeda, and then Regis just jumped on him, you know. And then there was parts there that Sean got Zepeda got his arm stuck in there, that wasn't able to get down on his knees, and you know was accumulated with more punishment, you know. But what that overhand I thought was a tremendous punch that just really turned the fight around. That overhand left that caught Zepeda, that really stunned him, you know. From all the fights, that was just like boom. You know, I mean, even when you saw him get knocked down, he got back up, but he never got hit like that where he froze. You know, and I think that really hurt him, and that's why that set up for that big knockout.
When you get hit like that, evidently, it seems like uncharted territory when a fighter gets hit like that when he never has before. What is that moment like when you get hit and you felt pain that you never felt, or you get stunned?
I mean, you don't really feel any pain. You know, it's just a restart button, and then you go back into into your habits. You know, for me was to fight. You know, when I got hit, I didn't know what the hell where I was at. But all I wanted to do was, I want to hit this dude. I just want to hit this dude, you know? And for him, he was hurt enough where he just stood still because that's what he's hard. You know, he's never going to go down. He didn't want to go down. Like, that was the same thing with me. I got to drop and get back up. I got to drop and get back up. I got to drop and get back up. You know, for him, it's like, I'm not going to go down. I'm not going to go down. I'm just keep it here. And that's what happened was he took more accumulated punishment is because he stood up. But because sometimes it's a detriment to a fighter when he has too big of a balls where he doesn't want to go down, you know. But the way he got hit was that was a very damaging punch, and a lot of people wouldn't be able to respond to that, you know.
Did the KO seem like it kind of came out of nowhere? It looked like we were almost headed to a decision on what was a difficult fight. How surprised were you to kind of see things unfold in the 11th so quickly like they did?
You know, it's funny because when you asked me earlier if this fight was going to go to the distance, I said no. Someone's going to get knocked out, right?
You did.
But I forgot to say that the last 2 rounds, their dog was going to come out. That's what I felt, that they were just going to go out there and fight and dog it out and fight it all out. You know, I thought that I thought it was going to be a good, close fight. And I thought that the fight can be turned at any moment, but I thought that the last 2 rounds they were just going to give it all, and that's what we got. You know, I wasn't surprised of the knockout because, I mean, the setup that Regis had done throughout the whole fight with the jab and the head movement, and how many times he had caught him with a straight, you know, that hurt him, and vice versa. But that perfect timing that he threw that overhand left really hurt Zepeda, you know, and I know it could happen to anybody, to either one of them, and they would just jump on the opponent, you know. But I wasn't surprised because I know that's what we were talking with all my friends. I thought that the last 2 rounds they were just going to give it all.
Going forward here, we'll start with Jose Zepeda. What do you think is next for Chon after taking his first loss in the fashion that he did tonight?
I think that he should just step back for a little bit, get some rest, you know, and then get back strong. You know, sometimes a fighter wants to get back into it, which is why we see fighters fall. You know, champions fall is because their pride is too big. I think he should just step back. And I told him, you know, I went to say what's up to him because I said, you know, I got the biggest respect for you. You know, you're an amazing fighter. And I told him, like, you know what, in every setback, embrace it instead of fight it. Because if you embrace your setback, you learn from it. And then you know that you accept the fact that it is. Because some people can't accept that they lost in that way, you know. But when you learn to accept that, you learn to dissect what you need to learn from it. And that's what makes you better. That's what makes me better. You know, and that's what I told him in the locker room because I mean, Regis is a good friend of mine, you know, and I just, you know, I went to say what's up to him. At the same time, after that, I said what's up to Zepeda because, you know, you got to give due respect to somebody who deserves it, man.
Definitely. What goes into the mindset, because you said something that's pretty poignant here that I wanted to piggyback off of, Nonito. You said that it's about acceptance. It's about basically living in the reality that you did fall short and that you did lose. What goes into the acceptance of your first defeat and rebuilding from that?
Right. For me, I've been through it. You know, the last fight was one of them, you know. This is what it is. Time, what you said and what I did now is already past. I can't take it back, right? What happened, you can't take it back. Just know that you're safe, you're healthy. You know, you can get back into it if you want it. You know, if that's what you want. But some people have the biggest pride that they don't accept it. And so they deny it. And they just drown themselves in a cycle of negativity. You know, but when you accept the fact that, hey, it happened, okay, how can I get better? You know, what did I do? What did I do wrong? What can I do to make myself not in the same position, you know, or something like that? But accepting the fact that happened is a move to being fulfilled. You know, you don't have to worry about it. Sometimes you're like, fuck this, you're cussing all over, you feel embarrassed. There's nothing to be embarrassed. You fought well. You gave your all. No one's even wanting to go there. You know, and the guy that beat you even told you that was his toughest fight. You know, so you gotta say, you know what happened, happened. Accept the fact that it happened. Now go into a point where, okay, what did I do good and what can I improve? You know, what did I do bad that I want to improve on? You know, because you can't take time. Time is an illusion that just passes you. You know, it's something that allows us to grow, because you know what, we can look back into it to better ourselves. You know, and this is what I am as a fighter. That's why I lose and I get back in there like crazy. You know, and nothing really stopped me, because my mentality is too strong.
Definitely. What would you like to see from Regis Prograis going forward, now that he's the 140-pound WBC champion? What do you think is the best move for him? He mentioned that he wanted to fight against Josh Taylor again.
I mean, Regis is like me. He'll fight everybody. You know, and the first thing that he has on his list is the guy that beat him. You know, you gotta give that respect to him, you know, because he wants that smoke. He wants that smoke, you know, he wants that fight. He wants that thing to happen. That's what he want to do. And a lot of fighters don't even really think about that. You know, for him, he has a target, you know, but of course it's up to Richard to make it happen, because he's done an amazing job with me. He's done an amazing job with all the fighters. But ultimately, it's him being grateful, because that's what made him better today. He was just grateful for being there. You can see how much fun he was going in there, moving his head. I've never seen Regis like that. Usually he's focused, he's this, but he looked like it was fun. He was having fun in there.
Definitely. Well, once again, Marcus Hayes, Fight Hub TV, here with Mr. Nonito Donaire. Nonito, thank you for your reaction.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
We look forward to seeing things from you in the future.